Here are some things you probably missed in the Quarry that have you looking for Easter eggs even if it doesn't kill you. The Quarry, the newest entry in Supermassive's Choice Matter horror roster, has been hailed as a spiritual successor to Until Dawn and will keep you on the edge of your seat for a variety of reasons. Keep a lookout for some fascinating Easter eggs throughout the game, in addition to all the storytelling information it directly imparts to you as you progress through the campaign. It is difficult to disagree when movies like Until Dawn and The Quarry are described as love letters to the horror genre and complete homages. Fans with keen eyes will see references to other popular brands, the people who created them, as well as a variety of other amusing details and useful tips to make the most out of your stay at Hackett's Quarry. Number 1. Scream reference. The Quarry's author, Will Biles, provided a list of the 6 horror films that he had the most effect on his work. Even though it is well known that The Quarry has many references to other horror series, and it comes as absolutely no surprise that Scream is at the top of his list. "You can't go back to before Scream," said Biles. "It wasn't that we borrowed particular concepts. David Arquette, the actor who plays Chris Hackett, is skilled at portraying inept police officers or other figures of authority, such as Officer Dewey Riley in the Scream movie series. We know we're in for a treat if a pillar of the genre like Arquette grants his mark of approval, since he believes Supermassive would be the fantastic pick for a Scream game." Number 2. They were warned, they are doomed. Like so many other events in this game, murders occurring in the summer camp beside the lake have a decidedly Friday the 13th vibe. For instance, those who purchased the game's deluxe edition will receive 80s throwback clothes for each counselor, and Jacob resembles Ned from the first Friday the 13th quite a bit. The special effects artist for this movie was Tom Savini, whose name is on the beer bottles. Did anyone else get a strong Mrs. Voorhees sense when Eliza being Silas's mother as well, even if the entire story arc with her appears to draw from it? It seems like we'll be watching the venerable series again. Number 3. Survive Until Dawn. The comparisons to Until Dawn are obvious and clear based on the plot alone. A group of kids are abandoned in the woods and must flee while facing a supernatural force that is trying to murder them. But the tale also makes references to it in other places. For instance, one of the hosts of the part of Bizarre Yet Bonafide that you hear before the credits say it was only a prank hand, which Emily says in Until Dawn after Hannah leaves. Additionally, Caitlin will comment to Dylan that the camp has a ski lodge-like feel to it and inquire, "You never daydreamed about being stranded on a distant ski resort in a snowstorm?" Number 4. Personifying Surnames. The names of real-life individuals who have contributed to the horror genre are featured in the game, as was already noted, but the surnames of the playable characters also reveal a lot about them. For instance, Abby's last name, Blake or Blake, means shy in Swedish. The name Emma is mountebank, which is slang for someone who lies. Jacob's is Latin for custodian, Dylan's is Czech for lazy, and Ryan's is German for narrator. You'll discover these things on your own as you progress through the game, but a little linguistics research can offer you some insight into your possible survivors. Number 5. A reference that took 65 million years to create. In a game like this, we anticipated seeing classic horror properties, but Jurassic Park caught us off guard. But if you've watched such films, you already know that it's undoubtedly feasible to contain a monster in a freezer. This is the scenario if your choices lead to you and Caitlin trying to kill Caleb in the kitchen. If Abby had left her bag behind when she took the teddy bear back in the first chapter, Caitlin might have lured Caleb to the freezer with the bear, slammed the door on him, and left him there to freeze to death. Number 6. Unusual yet genuine podcast IRL. Ryan initially makes mention of this paranormal podcast, Bizarre Yet Bonafide, early in the game, but the creators went one step further with it by creating the podcast specifically as marketing content for the game. Some of a 6-episode series from the in-game podcast may be heard during the closing credits of the game. The characters from Until Dawn and the Wendigos, the demonic foe from the previous game, are frequently mentioned in the podcast. Number 7. A trophy case with a trophy. Supermassive is another title that makes its allusions in its list of achievements. You will receive a trophy named The Final Girl if Caitlin is the only person to be left at the conclusion of the game. One female character being left alive to tell the tale and being referred to the last girl is a well-established motive in horror. There was a nice pop culture allusion in the prizes as well, though it's by no means terrifying. You can receive a prize named You're Breathtaking if you successfully complete 5 Don't Breathe sections. Who would forget the meme that went viral in 2019 when Keanu Reeves said, "You're stunning," to an adoring fan in the crowd at the Cyberpunk 2077 presentation. Number 8. More exploration leads to lore. The devil is in the details, as anybody who has played Supermassive's life or death decision making titles like Until Dawn and a plethora of others will attest. You can learn everything you need to know from the tale alone, but there is a lot more to learn if you do a little investigating. Even after observing the initial response to an object, we may still repeatedly inspect it. Even if you don't access any further conversation by checking it again, you might still read the entire content. These treasures add to the eerie themes in the tale itself to highlight just how horrific and forlorn this game can be. Number 9. Other icons receive personalized products. The Quarry is undoubtedly rife with allusions to various horror cliches and customs, but it also makes bows to the individuals who work behind the scenes. Your counselors can, for instance, sip on some of Savini's beer or shoot off some McTiernan shotgun rounds. Predator was directed by John McTiernan, and Tom Savini worked on numerous horror movies' special effects. In addition, Max gets turned down by Landis University, which bears John Landis' name and is dedicated to the writer and director of An American Werewolf in London. He will also make mention of the film The Evil Dead, which was directed by and starring Ted Raimi as Sheriff Travis. And finally, at number 10, Twilight Zone animation tutorials. These unsettling animated instructional parts of the game are disturbing enough on their own, even if they are visually very different from the rest of the game. The characters are endearing and the jokes are funny, yet there was something about them that made our arm's hair stand on end. The voice behind the tutorial segments was Mark Silverman, who was cast in the part expressly for his amazing ability to sound like Rod Serling, the legendary creator and presenter of The Twilight Zone, a highly regarded television program in the horror genre. And those are the 10 things that everyone in the Quarry completely missed. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.